Hey everyone, this is Stevie Richards. Happy New Year, happy 2023, and welcome to the relaunch of the Stevie Richards Fitness Show, the SRF show, which could be a tentative name for this show because we have a co-host now. People don't have to hear just me talking anymore. Now they can hear an actual fitness, health, wellness, nutrition expert, my co-host from this point on, my friend for many years, and a person who we've talked for how many years about doing something like this when it was kind of right under our noses. And no better time, no better late than never, no better time than starting now. We have Big Mike Behrens. As you notice, I can call myself Big Stevie Cole because that name is null and void when I stand next to Mike. How are you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. I'm good. I am very good. And you're a lot bigger than you're giving yourself credit for. So I think we could just stick with Big Stevie Cool because it works, And yeah, it's cool to be here. I'm excited that we're actually gonna finally, after years of knowing each other and years of following each other and talking about things that we could do, we're actually doing something. So I'm pumped for it. I'm excited for what we can bring to the table here with the SRF show. We can keep it that, or if any of the viewers have ideas, maybe we'll entertain different ideas.
I just got an idea that sounds a hell of a lot better than the SRS show. What about the Big Fitness Show? Big with a little square. You have Big Stevie Cole, Big Mike Behrens.
Hey, I dig that. There we go. That might be it.
That's it. All right, we are 2 minutes in, and we've already changed the brand. So there you go. Welcome to enjoy the roller coaster ride of our madness as we try to always evolve and create. Right?
Yeah, no, that's good, man. That's actually really, really good. Big fitness show. Comment below what you think, if we should go with that or not. I think
Very
that
love
might
it.
work.
Very love it. She just answered me on that. So always listening.
Love.
That happened to you during one of our pre-production meetings. You had Siri just rattling off 3 paragraphs of what you were saying. So they're never
Yep.
they're always listening. So for
Uh,
those of you who are listening on audio version, you like that segue. The audio version, which is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can get the podcast through a major platform. Also, we'll have it up at StevieRichardsFitness.com/show, where you can actually listen right on the website, or you can subscribe to the RSS feed. For the video version, just to give everybody a little bit of house cleaning in the beginning as we start this. Right now, this is recorded live, so it's not a live stream, but after the first 5 to 10, 15, 20, 30 outtakes of me messing up the opening, this is what you get. But Mike and I, Big Mike and I, have plans to live stream eventually and maybe make those kind of like special episodes of the show that everybody can interact with.
hmm Yeah, that'll be fun. I think maybe if we do that, we'll see how these first few shows go and how we do live tape and see how that goes, and then we'll dip our toe into the live and dealing with comments and live chat and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I think it's more so the tech part of it because we were using a different piece of software that is for live streaming. Couldn't get anything right. The delay was off, so that's not really great episode to start off with two guys talking over each other or listening for 5 seconds and trying to decipher. So if you ever used the internet before, you know how lag and latency can really ruin a piece of content like this with two people. So this episode number one, which we already changed the name of the show, where we don't have a nailed down name for the episode, but the theme of what we're talking about here is to kind of introduce ourselves to everybody out there, kind of like a 101 of who we are previous to this, what brought us to this point. And then towards the end, we're going to talk about what we are striving and working towards making this show and the content we put out all about for you, the viewer or the listener. If you do both, we appreciate that as well. So I'm going to put you on the in the spotlight on the spot right now, Mike. So people are probably wondering, like why did two pro wrestlers especially decide to start a fitness show, which for us seems pretty, you know, pretty easy kind of lateral move since we worked out all the time during our career. But give everybody a background of, wrestling even before wrestling, and then what led you into the current role that you have in the health, wellness, fitness space.
Sure. Yeah, man. It is. it kind of is a no-brainer for us to do something like this. But most people on here are probably like, who is this guy? Right? They've probably never seen me, never heard of me, never anything, which is totally fair. I get it. Stevie and I've been friends for years, ever since we actually we wrestled at some, I don't even remember the name of the town that we were in, but we were somewhere in Iowa, and we had a tag team match. And I remember that was the first night where you and I hit it off, became friends. I feel like we talked like the whole night, just shot the shit and talked about whatever it was that we could do. And we were talking about the match and stuff, and we had a lot of fun, and then saw each other a couple more times and just have stayed in touch through social media and stuff. And so just kind of fast forward to where we're at now, like the fitness space always been near and dear to you. And then for me, same thing. Like I got into the supplement world. That was kind of my start in the supplement world, or in the fitness industry, right? Like I was had been wrestling for a number of years, but then in like 2013, end of 2012, 2013 is when I started working as a rep in the supplement space. Started working for a company as a demo rep, just kind of go to a gym, set up a table, and then start sampling product to people and educate them on what it does. And at the time, it was all about bro science, because I didn't know any better. I was just a wrestler that lifted weights, tried to get jacked all the time. So that was the primary of what I had done. But now, 10 years later, I'm I would call myself an educator in the space of supplements. I have a passion for educating people on what supplements can do. Over the course of that 10 years, I've learned a lot about fitness and nutrition, and upped my game, and been able to help a lot of people change their health, live healthier every single day, lose weight, whatever it may be. I've just kind of carved out a little niche for myself in the education space in supplements. And so that's kind of what has prompted you and I is you're very much so in the educating about equipment, home gyms, all the different things that you can do with your programs and stuff. And for me, I'm kind of on a perfect complement to that on the other side, where it's like nutrition tips, supplementation, how you can live healthier every single day. And it just kind of got to that point where now we want to bring that to people and see what we can do to help educate more so. So I hope that answered the question, gave a little background on me.
Absolutely. Well, you left out that you're a movie star too.
Yeah, there was one time I did do a movie. It's called Butcher the Bakers. You can look it up. It's available on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free. You look it up. I was the lead villain in that. My name was Drag, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, when people do see either photos and or video of that movie, they're going to know why I kind of pushed the Big Stevie Cool name aside. Although now might have the name of the show, so I have to begrudgingly either get some lifts on my sneakers, or we can never meet in person. And since you live in the Midwest or in the winter, we're not going to meet at least until April or May, maybe. But
Sure.
I think the education thing is exactly a very viable part of why we do what we do, because we're going to touch on many different episodes, different things, different elements. And sometimes, not inadvertently, but for the fact of protecting people that might not know any better, kind of calling certain, quote, influencers, or the people that think there's miracle cures or miracle things, or take this pill, or there's a 21-day fix. There needs to be kind of a reset of the way people think about the space of health, fitness, nutrition, wellness, whatever you want to call it, or all those above. And that's what we talked about when we had a 2-hour conversation the other day that went by like that. But we were kind of trying to hash out what we wanted to get across. And really what it was, like you said, education, helping people, but really maybe avoiding the pitfalls of taking dangerous supplements or dangerous substances, or engaging in what could be considered to be very, very dangerous diets, which I can share those stories as we go on about all the different diets that I've tried up until now at 51 years old. And I think it's almost like what we try to tell younger wrestlers. We try to tell them information and guidance so they can avoid the stupid mistakes that we made for the past however many years. I think that's a good motivating factor. We're not always going to be right. And we're going to admit that, and we're not going to always going to know everything for sure. And I think, and I'll pass it back to you, Mike. I think that's where the health, fitness, wellness, nutrition space, or all the above, like I said before, that's the problem. Is everybody is afraid to admit that they aren't the utmost top
Mm.
expert at everything. Like, and they feel like that vulnerability is going to alienate the audience. Which I think you and I, with our approaches, have actually had some loyal following because we don't claim to be what we aren't.
Sure, sure. No, yeah, you're spot on with that, man. And like, it's one of those things where I'll be completely frank with you guys. I'm 99% of the stuff that I'm gonna share is gonna come from personal experience, having tried it. And obviously I've learned, and I don't claim to be an expert in anything. Like, I know a lot about supplements. I know more than most people do. I know enough for getting a new person started on it and helping them understand why they're important, why it makes sense for you to add them into your daily routine. But I'm not someone like a Thomas DeLauer who will sit and break down the nerdy science behind everything. I can do that if you want, but that's just not my approach, because, you know, like, I want to make it easier and palatable for people to take in and to learn. And so the education space is just like, if I don't know something, I'll tell you right away. I don't know an answer to that, because I'm not just going to pull things out of my rear to to answer a question, but then I'll figure it out. That's kind of my approach to it. Is if I don't know this right now, I'll then either try it myself, figure it out myself, do the research, read the papers, whatever, and then try to break that down to then bring it to whoever I'm speaking to let them know that, hey, this is what I gathered from this. But again, I don't claim to be an expert, and I'm just not gonna throw stuff at you trying to sound smart.
I think that's
It's
a
dumb.
great point. There's motivating elements I think we're going to touch on, like that what we just talked about. But I think the episodes that we plan on doing here on the show. See, I didn't see SRF show. I'm trying to figure out. I like the big fitness show better, big squared fitness show better. But looking at that, like, I think there's a motivational element or even an inspirational, if I could be that kind of daring to say that, because most of people's fear, whatever they do, especially in the space that we're in with working out and fitness and going to a gym or building your own gym, there's a fear of not knowing and looking stupid or not be willing to learn because you don't think you're ever going to be able to get better at it. And we can say that's where our mindset changed, because I used to think that way. Wrestling, as a matter of fact, kind of forces you sometimes to think in a toxic nature. You have to shake that off because it's really easy to get caught up with drama. But then I realized that, hey, it's up to me. No one's going to come along and teach me anything. No one's going to drop off a bag of money for me. Maybe they haven't done it yet,
Right.
but maybe someday. But they haven't.
Be nice.
There's nobody's going to ever hand it to you. But also, everybody had to be a beginner at some time. That was my wife's thing when I started the resistance band programs, because I was afraid it was going to be too easy, too much for beginners. Our egos wanted to show off, what we did. Everybody has that in them. Um, but when I embraced beginners and I took the education uh, optics to it, and I took that perspective of educating people and then learning, because if I'm educating people, I got to keep getting better. So for the people listening and watching out there, if you're just starting out or if you've never done anything before, somebody or multiple people or almost everybody has been there, where they never picked up a camera for photography. They never picked up a weight to lift. They never, like we did before here, it felt like we never did a podcast before because nothing was working. But that's how you learn. That's how you're going to get better. So those little elements from a previous generation or previous version of what we're doing now, Mike, the morning warm up was all about getting people to really have the right mindset, getting people to have, the right motivation, whether they fail or they succeed, just waking up with the foundational motivation and perspective to at least give it their all and try to do whatever they can. So that's kind of like just kind of bridging into my background. You touched on wrestling, and other stuff. I wrestled. I started in 1991 and been around and been blessed to be in just about every wrestling company. And trust me, here's a little inside baseball. Mike and I are both wrestlers. Mike and I both worked just as hard, but there was somebody within companies subjectively that looked at me for some reason, the timing of it or whatever, and I got opportunities. And then there's such a razor thin type of difference that can happen between working for a major TV company for 10 years or never working for any TV company throughout your whole career. So there's a little bit of luck, there's always effort, and it's always about making yourself available. And then that luck kind of comes in. So I want to give everybody that background. It really is a lot of excellent people out there like Mike, excellent talents that have wrestled for many years. My friend Ben Hameen, Greek God Papadon, there's tons of people out there that haven't gotten the blessing of the opportunities I have. So, and that's kind of why I want to do this too, to kind of pay it forward and pay it back to people and help people, because there's plenty of people that have helped me throughout my life. And this is my way of kind of serving them. So I wrestled
Sure.
for many, many years, which with wrestling injuries occur more so with me than most people. So I was injured a whole bunch. I was injured a whole bunch. And during the course of that, and this is another lesson for people to kind of take with you. At the time of these things that were happening, I thought I was the most cursed individual. I thought I was having tons of bad luck. I thought I was fragile. I thought I was injury prone. And all those things could be true to some extent. But what it did was it provided the life experience. You talked about experience, the life experience of suffering, struggling with, and trying to overcome an injury in order to stay in shape, in order to be healthy, in order to still be functional. And then, just like this show, it was right underneath my nose since like 2000 until 2016 when I finally said, I want to jump into the fitness space and start Stevie Richards Fitness. I want to have programs and information and content that can help people, educate people. And there's always different versions of that, just like different versions of what we've tried to do throughout our wrestling career and now through our fitness or our, health, wellness, nutrition businesses. It's that thing of it always evolved into something. So I didn't quite have all the answers in 2016, but now in 2023, it's finally feeling like it's kind of starting to come together. So this show is going to be kind of an amalgamation. See, I used the big word. CT hasn't
That
kicked.
was a good word. That was a good word.
Amalgamation. I pronounced it almost correctly. But this here also is to pass along those information and that we have on your YouTube channel, where you're basically trying the supplements out and trying things out, giving your organic reaction. And then myself with the home garage gym content to show people that I'm just a regular guy that owns these spaces and I'm trying out equipment. There's nothing more to it than that. So, and this show will hopefully be, let me see if I can get it a third time, amalgamation. See, the amalgamation of, and there are probably people who are like, man, amalgamation means this. That was like the completely wrong definition. I'm going to triple down on it right now. But
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping to do. So this actually, it's funny. Now we're looking at our history. This doesn't feel like we're looking back and like all this stuff has happened. And like this show in 2023 and the plans we have feel more like this is like a beginning of something. It's kind of cliche to say that. How do you feel about that? Like, I feel like this is a whole new thing looking at everything as we're starting this.
Sure. No, I agree. And I think, to your point with the helping people and bringing people along and helping them, and even though they might not have same opportunities, whatever, like it's just that heart to help people. And I think that's what makes the two of us align so well, is that we do have that heart to help people, and we will take the time to sit down and talk with someone. And, in the wrestling space, yeah, I never made it anywhere near the level that you did, and I never was on a TV show, but I still love the business. I still love the art of what it is that we do. And so like that heart to help other wrestlers I've been doing it for 20 years, right? Like, so I have some experience that has come with it, different perspective, but it's that heart to help and to help the younger guys. But then also with what we're doing here is I feel like we can have a huge impact with the show of helping people understand how they can go from where they're at to just take a step forward, to do this, or to get better in this regard. And it's not just the fitness space, like there's more to it than just fitness. There's whole health, there's nutrition, there's taking care of your mind, there's recovery, there's different things that through our experiences we've had to do to learn and grow and be better men and be better, better husbands and that. And so like if we can impart some of that, and this, to your point of this new beginning, yeah, this is a new thing. Like this is new. And I think it's maybe reinvigorating some things for you, definitely getting me rolling, because I've, kind of hemmed and hawed over the last couple of years of, do I do this? Do I go all in and do a show or create video content? I've done it, but haven't been super serious about it. And I think the new beginning that's coming with this is an accountability for both of us to constantly be better. And then if we can share that with other people, I think it will just not only help us be better, but I think if we can share any experience that we learn through things, that we can help other people be better. And that's really, like, for me, the goal and the heart behind why I wanted to even do this with you at all, is because I just think we can help people. And that's the whole goal,
Yeah, it's like we had talked about before. First of all, we were both resisting it because everybody has a podcast. So that was the end of it right there, right? So, but the other end of it that I think motivated us to finally do it was the space is so overrun with the gotchas and this person destroyed this person's career, and it's just these clickbaity type things. Even in the fitness thing about the Liver King is more of a exposing the Liver King is more of a story or more of a topic on a show, audio or video wise, than actually trying to teach people. They're just saying, don't do what he does and don't do that bullshit. But there's no legitimate answer to kind of do whatever because they're so busy with the gotcha content on that. And even the Liver King himself, which if we had done this earlier, probably would have done a dedicated episode to that as a cautionary tale for a lot of people, especially in our space, what we're doing. It's very easy to get attention. It's very difficult to get quality attention. Anybody can get attention, uh, putting 500 pounds on a safety squat bar and mowing your lawn outside. But what like viable information does any of that give a person that's never done it before? So
right.
that's what I look at. I think it's definitely, we're going to have show topics, like dedicated show topics. We'll probably jump around a little bit with conversation, but just everything from in my regard, let's just talk about the mistakes I made throughout the years. One that's major, and we'll cover it in an entire episode. It's the first time you're hearing this, so I don't know if you do the same thing. Overtraining. Overtraining has been something, and I've been off of that type of thing. We'll dedicate an entire episode, but the overtraining aspect of doing this thing and learning that I'm doing more harm than good, and the risk versus reward, and not having the proper nutrition or sleep after these overtraining. But I watched Rocky IV. That guy, yeah, look at yeah, bring them snow. I'm gonna put like a horse carriage on my back and squat, But these are things I think with the show too. These things that even I'm having trouble escaping, like the Rocky training montages and stuff. These are the things we want. We don't want to tell you to be lazy. We don't want to tell you like less is more with training and other things, or doing things in a more how should I say, deliberate manner rather than emotional when it comes to working out or doing anything. I think we can maybe, I don't know, cool the temperature in the room and maybe bring a little bit of common sense and reality into these topics that we're going to discuss. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Because I don't think either of us are pretending to be something that we're not. Like, we're not pretending to be the end all be all and know everything about everything as it relates to the health and fitness space. We know what we know, and we feel passionate about, what works and what doesn't work. And we can speak from experience. And, like the idea of coming on here and running down somebody for what they feel or what they think. And, in the supplement space, like there's so much stuff that could be said about other supplement companies and what they do and what their practices are, but that's never been me. I've never been someone to come on here and name drop another supplement company and then just rip them to shreds. That's just not my approach. And so like, I think the better approach is educating, hey, this is what is really good for you. This is what's really not good for you. And here's why, right? And here's why these things work out this way. And then letting you, the viewer, decide what makes sense, right? And so the more that we can provide that kind of content, I think it's going to be better for both of us. And I think it'll challenge both of us to continue to learn, to offer new things and to experience new things so that we can then give feedback and just have, topics of conversation to where, maybe we'll have people ask us questions and we can answer questions and do things like that to help just further the education behind everything that we're doing, because at the end of the day, you got to keep growing as a person, no matter where you're at in life right now. It's because you got yourself there, right? Like you're in a position where you're at because you put in work to get where you're at. And maybe you're not where you want to be, but who's in control of that? You, Stevie, you are. And same thing here. Like I never had a run in a big promotion in my wrestling career. Well, whose fault is that? Let's be honest. It's mine and I'll take responsibility for that. Right. And so like, it's a matter of knowing where you're at, getting a little piece of knowledge to get you further along on that path and further down that journey. And so if there's even the smallest bit of what we both have gone through over the last 20, 30 years of our lives to experience that and to share with people, then who are we to not pass that on and share with people?
I'm about to give people, we can clip this too. I'm going to give you the secret that kept me in WWE for almost 10 years. And I'm going to give you the secret, what kept me in mostly every wrestling company I ever worked for. You ready for this? All right. So everybody in every company, you don't look like you're quite ready for it, but that's okay. I'm going to go in.
I'm ready for it.
Anyway,
my ears perked up. You couldn't really tell.
Get your hydration drink ready. Give me a taste test on that. So you can catch that video on Mike's YouTube channel. He put it up last week. So links for our channels and everything will be in the show notes, just a reminder. So now that I've strung that along with it to get everybody's anticipation up, this is how I lasted. You might think, well, you worked hard, you kissed ass, you stayed after Raw and Gorilla and the Country Club ass kissing and all that. Everybody knows there's certain individuals that are in locker rooms that are designated to be there to be the eyes and the ears of the office and then go back and use their mouths to tell on you to the office, right? Whether you're doing anything wrong or not, if you just give a little opening, you might as well do something to get in trouble, correct? On any level.
Sure. Yeah.
So certain people in WWE would always come up to me and it became kind of like a rib to see if and they're always trying to get you to pick a side, bury somebody, do whatever. So this is what the best politicking I ever did. I am not a good politicker, but this is the best that I ever did. So I came up with this. So I'll just say the name, Steve Lombardi, Harvey Whippleman. Those were the two guys that were, God bless you. That's why you were there for 150 years. So anyway, they would come up and be like, hey man, can you believe so-and-so did that? Like, man, they have a ton of heat. What do you think? And I'll be like, well, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their thing. Then if two people were mad at each other, or there was two sides where they're requiring you to pick one side or the other to tell the side you didn't pick that you didn't pick their side. Yes, this is
sure.
These are adults, by the way. This is not high school cafeteria, but same difference. So
yeah.
The other thing would be, hey man, did you see those two guys like argue with each other? Like, man, who do you think was right and who was wrong with that? They don't even realize how obvious their questions are. Who do you think was right and wrong?
Sure.
Oh my God. And they would say something to where like, oh, I thought that person was definitely in the right when he said this. And I was like, I think it worked out best for both parties.
Sure.
Those are the two lines.
Stay neutral.
Hey,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good way. It's a good way to stay there. Stay
they
neutral on
knew
everything you
exactly
do.
what I was doing. They had nothing, and it would turn into a joke where people would ask my opinions on things, and that would be the only two things I would say. Even in a talent meeting, I just said everybody's got their thing, and boys
Yeah.
popped. That's it. So there's your little wrestling fix on that. But now that we're doing what we're
That's
doing
good.
now too, that kind of perspective, and also sitting back and listening and not wanting to open your mouth and not give, like you just said about the supplement companies. Of course, if people are going to, they can email us, steverichardsfitness@gmail.com, which might be the big fitness show at gmail.com if it's available. We'll figure that out. But also, there will be times where we'll need to name names and do stuff like that based upon people's questions and stuff. If you won't do it, I got enough heat. I'll do it.
Well, it's not that I won't, like I will, I don't get in the habit of talking down about other.
It's too much
Yeah.
negative. You'd rather talk about what the
Yeah.
good, positive, productive stuff is. I get it. I'm just messing with you. See, what
Yeah.
you should have just said
Yeah.
there,
There's good
should have
bad
just
with
said everybody's
all.
got their thing. See, you could have got out of it.
I missed it.
Yeah, I gave it to you right. It was right here.
Damn it. Let's go back and cut this.
I don't have a
Everybody's
silver
got their
platter. I
thing.
got a roadcaster covered. I served it up on. So there you go.
Everybody's got their thing. There we go. There.
I think what people hopefully are going to get out of this too is that we're also not going to take ourselves too seriously. We're also going to joke
Oh
around.
no.
We're going to be probably more self-deprecating than anything, any other show you ever listen or watch. But it's all just how we keep ourselves in check and humble and keep doing that thing you said, moving forward and being motivated to learn.
Yeah. No, it absolutely. I don't ever take myself seriously, and I know you don't. So it makes it for a good. Hopefully it will be a good conversation that you all enjoy. If you're listening to this or watching this, hopefully you enjoy the banter that we have back and forth, because it's not going to change. It's just us.
Absolutely. And I'm sure other people don't take us seriously either. So that's okay. So, but what we're going to do too is like obviously we have our own businesses. And just to let you know that what we have here is basically going to be information and content, conversation, things like that. We are going to put affiliate links and the links to our businesses in the show notes, but we're going to make this as streamlined and as efficient as possible. But if you could look at the show notes, subscribe to our YouTube channels, check out the products that we have. I have an affiliate model on mine. Mike is one of the founding members of X Endurance, another thing that reconnected us when we started talking and trying out different things on the supplement side. So please check those show notes out. We're not going to make it a pitch heavy type of thing. We've already talked in the pre-production, right, Mike, that we're strictly going to keep it to that. And people, we're not going to try to hard sell them. We're just going to let them know that these things are available if they want to support the content and if they want our recommended brands of what we always use to be a part of their fitness journey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to come on here and give you a sales pitch every single time. That's just how I approach everything, and I know you as well. It's more of here's what's good, here's what's bad, here's what I like, here's what I don't like, here's why this would work for you. If you want it, go get it. Like it's totally up to you. We're just going to provide as much information about whatever it is we're talking about, so that you can make your own decision on what it is that you want to do.
And we are going to differentiate information from opinions. And our opinions
Sure.
aren't always going to line up either. Does it make it very interesting?
Right.
But we respect each other, and we're always going to, and more times than not, I'll just say it right now before we even get into episode 2, Mike is usually going to be right. So just that, he's usually going to be right. I'm usually going to be wrong.
I doubt it.
And no, I swear, I know. Based on life experience, I will usually be wrong when it comes to this stuff. I'm still very much into like I said, one of my struggles is going from the emotional part of training to a logical science-based part. That's my biggest struggle. I go by feel, and I sometimes go until I literally drop. My wife has had to pick me up off the garage floor. The infrared sauna too, over training with that. But We got to get you one of those soon. We got to figure out how we can get you one of those.
I've been I've been eyeing one for a long time that it would be nice to have, and I've got a perfect spot for it in the house to be able to put it. So soon, hopefully soon, I can get one. Just got to
Well,
figure out which one makes the most sense. Get my wife on board with it too.
that'll be yeah. Well, that's the important part. But that's another topic. Well, you talk about, okay, it'll be infrared sauna stuff. It'll be all these different elements of. It's fascinating because the amount of we were talking, and before we wrap it up, we were talking in the pre-production, and the whole time I was thinking, I was like, I've always been worried about, okay, I got these 5 subjects for episodes. What about after that? But that's what we love
Sure.
about 3 things. I think we have 3 passions besides our family and people we love: technology, fitness, and wrestling, because they're
Yeah.
always evolving, they're always changing. You always need to stay sharp with all 3 of those. So, and then we run our own thing technology wise in the background. We run our own fitness and health and supplement stuff. And then the wrestling, you're an independent contractor, needs to really, excuse me, figure it out on your own. So
Mm-hmm.
have to be sharp. And I think I was like, well, how many episodes can we do with this? And I was like, man, I stopped counting after like 30. I was like, oh, that's an hour.
Sure.
That's an hour. So that's that for people that think that like there isn't a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed and talked about and discussed from potentially 2 different opinions too, which creates a whole nother element in that topic. We definitely will have a lot of great information that we'll bring to you.
Yeah, I think we're going to do our best to try to give it to as much value and from a wide range of topics. I mean, it'll be a fitness related show, but when you think about it, everything ends up going back to fitness. Everything that you feel in your life, everything that you go through every day it all comes back to fitness in a way, right? Like it maybe not physical fitness, but mental fitness. Maybe it's your educational fitness. Like it's so much that's involved around this that it's more about the experiences and helping people get started, helping people get on a path towards health and wellness. It's not about you got to be some ripped, shredded, jacked liver king style dude. Like you don't have to do that. That's not what we're going to try to teach you to do. That's not, if you want to go there, sure, go teach your own, do whatever you want. But it's just about giving people some tips, some ideas, some things to show that it's possible. Like even with our own fitness journeys, I know you've struggled in the past with yours. I'm definitely struggled with mine in staying at peak condition or, adding the weight, dropping the weight, things like that we've had over the years. And I think I hope that through the evolution of this show that we're just able to give as much value as possible. But I really think what I'm kind of just thinking about this out loud right now, I think what it's really going to do is it's going to help you and it's going to help me selfishly be better every day too,
Yeah, like I said, keeping sharp. We
Yeah,
will be researching the topic all week until we record. So it
sure.
keeps us, I get up. We do it anyway, but now I think there's going to be a more of an organized curriculum type of look at how we research. We share our Trello board together. We're going to have ideas back and forth, and we'll be prepped to talk about that. I was trying to cut weight, by the way, before the show. So here I am in sauna with the sauna. The sauna elf is in full effect. So that's a sauna cap. You think that sauna cap's like looks like a goofy thing? You put a sauna cap on your, especially with our hair back, and it goes right to your skin, dude. You
Yeah.
are pouring buckets of sweat.
Oh, I bet
It
it makes
looks
a difference.
silly.
Yeah,
It is silly, but it works, man. Because think about all the heat escapes up through
sure.
your head, and you now trap it. It's a new
Yeah.
feeling. If you've never done it before, it's not like a knit cap. It is wool. It is like
Well,
heavy. Yeah,
when
like
you
putting a
sent me that
blanket over
picture,
you.
yeah, when you sent me that picture, I was like, what the hell is on his head? And I instantly, you know what I flashed back to? Um, there was it to give a little wrestling side article, whatever. Sorry, side note, whatever. It flashed me back to, I don't remember. I don't know when the year was, but you and Victoria were
Pink
doing
hat.
your gimmick and the pink hat, and I'm like,
Pink hat.
Just like, it looks great.
Dude, I found that pink hat literally on the ground in the back of the arena. And I was like, I'm gonna put a fucking pink hat on. Like it was nobody's pink. Like who has a pink bucket hat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
that was
great.
interesting. So I just turned the hat into vignettes and the hat, putting the hat on and missing an elbow out of the corner. It's goofy, but nobody, it's just, that's what we always
Yeah.
look for. You and I think going to this space too, are looking at what the space needs. And that's why we were
Sure.
motivated to do the show. In wrestling,
Mhm.
when it's kind of like, how should I say? It's like Warren Buffett saying, when people are greedy, be fearful. When people are fearful, be greedy. So when people want to
Sure.
be strong and tough and all these things, I saw in the wrestling space, oh, I can carve out a space that nobody wants in
Mhm.
ECW or doing that kind of stuff and everything. So that's kind of what we're looking at now. We're not trying to compete with anybody. We're just trying to be ourselves and create our own space that can hopefully be a very viable, credible space for people to come and look at that. And like I said before, if we're wrong, we're going to do something you've never seen on the internet before. We're legitimately going to admit that we didn't know what we were talking about and we were wrong.
Yep.
And now we're going to learn or
Yeah.
keep our mouths shut about shit we don't know anything about. That's we're not going to,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not going to and ah our way
Yeah.
here,
No, that
do an
agreed.
apology video or anything. Although there'll probably be plenty of apologies for stuff we didn't know. Like I said, I will
Nah,
repeat
screw it.
before we go. Mike will usually be right. I will usually be wrong. That's the overarching theme for the show. Let's stick with that.
All right. I'm gonna clip that recording and send it to my wife so that she can remember that.
Hey, maybe it's a way we can interchange since our name or both our names are Mike, that we can figure out a way that we can say something where like you take the heat for me not taking the garbage out, and then I can take the heat for
Yeah, there we go.
yeah, that would be good.
It's Mike's fault. It was all Mike's fault, and I'll just blame you.
See, but I'm Michael. See, that's where my wife
You're Mike. Oh, all right.
it's automatically
All
a
right.
red flag if you're a Mike. It's like
Mm.
Mike and Michael. They're the damn you
Well, there we go.
show. I
Yeah.
should have known that. We should have talked about that before we even started recording because I like that name more and more now. So
Yeah.
we're
No, I think it fits. I think it
gonna
fits.
pivot 2 minutes into the first episode. Oh my god. Stick with us on the roller coaster ride. So before we go, is there any closing thoughts on episode one or anything you want to kind of put out there for anybody on that might be like, okay, what's the future going to look like here, and why should I subscribe to this, whatever the name of the show is, which still sounds better than the
Yeah.
other show, whatever the name of the show
Whatever
is.
the name. Whatever. Yeah. No, I think I do have a thought that I'd like to share real quick. Is I just want to say to you, Michael, Stevie, whatever we want to call you, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for wanting to do this with me, because honestly, like I said at the beginning of this, most people probably don't know who I am. I never really set the world on fire in my wrestling career. So for you to put the trust and faith in me to want to do this together and to give your stamp of approval means a lot to me, and I appreciate that very much. So more than I can express here right now. And I'm just super grateful for that. And so I will do my best to bring as much value as I can to this show, because you have shown such a just a level of respect for me, and I really appreciate it. So for that reason, everybody should subscribe, because it's just we're going to be two dudes that are care about helping other people, that are like-minded in a way, have different opinions, have a level of experience in the different in the industry that we're in, and we just want to help. And so subscribe to have some fun once in a while, probably throw in some wrestling stories, have some fun conversation about fitness and health and wellness. And hopefully we can help you get on a path towards long-term health and wellness. And, I think it'll be an entertaining time, if nothing else.
Well, I do appreciate that, but I do have to call you out on episode one that you are wrong about one thing. See, Michael, he's wrong when he said to me, "You are the draw." It's like we have a fundamental disagreement about that. But I do appreciate you too, man. And I appreciate the fact that we both have had it kind of in our minds and our hearts for years to do this. And deep down, we kind of knew it was going to be this with each other, because we always, what was the end of most of our text? I mean, we kind of were in touch and then out of touch and back in touch. But it
Mhm.
was always like, dude, we should do something together. We should do something
Mhm.
together. We don't know what it is, but that's been going on for years. And I'm finally happy that it's a reality, and it's a 50-50 effort between us. You bring a great deal of knowledge, not only about fitness, health, nutrition, wellness, but also about the technology and the way these workflows, and also the mind for the marketing. And we hashed out a very real, honest conversation about, I wanted to go live. And you were like, well, we should go record it and get the workflow down and get everything down before we do something like that. And you're absolutely right. And that's what I think is going to make, so I'm going to pull a big word out again, this symbiotic relationship between us, that we're going to make each other better. Oh my God, amalgamation, symbiotic. I'm going to get the hell off right now before I say duh or something. But, but, but we are going to push each other, make each other better, and we're going to in turn make everything we do in our businesses and the show better. So I haven't been this excited in a very, very long time to do anything, whether it's wrestling, fitness, tech wise, production, shows, or anything. So it's going to be an exciting 2023 and beyond. And I hope everybody gets that when they hear our voices, they see our faces, and they join us and just kind of having a good time and trying to figure life out, trying to do it
Yeah,
just like along with us as we have these episodes.
for sure. And you are the draw.
Oh,
Just saying.
you're wrong again. I'm gonna let you close us out. How's that?
It's perfect.
Here's a new way to do it. Whoever opens the show, the other will close it, and then we keep everything. We'll alternate the openings and the closings of this. I said it's
I
50.
don't know,
Now
man.
I got to
I'm not
back it
the
up.
that's fair. I'm not the pro, so whatever I leave out, let me know. But hey, if you
Well, you don't
guys
have to
got any
pitch
value out
anything.
of
We
this,
already said we're not pitching, so you don't have to remember
not
links
pitching.
or names or anything. God, I cut you
Check
off.
the show notes. Check the show notes. Check the description for any information about what we're doing. If you like this, if you got some value from it, subscribe to the channel. These are going to be recurring on a weekly basis. That's the plan right now, for us to bring you some type of show we don't know exactly what the name's going to be called, but big fitness show sounds pretty good. Might be able to come up with a cool graphic with Big Stevie Cool and Big Mike together. But yeah, subscribe to the channel so you can let us know the feedback, give us a like on the video, and share it with other people. We're excited to bring this to you every week, and I will end it with Stevie is the draw for sure.
I'll end it with you're wrong. How's that? So, all right,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Make sure, like you said, subscribe. Also, more importantly, on the YouTube channel side, comment questions. Stevie Richards Fitness at gmail.com. Comment there. We will read the comments on the air. We will answer the questions to the best of our ability, and always any feedback as well on how we can improve this, any suggestions, any show but the SRF show seems like a good suggestion from anybody. So, all right, everybody, we will see you. And geez, see, you were closing it out. I messed it up.
No, you did great. You did great. There's a couple things I forgot. So we'll see you in the
Okay,
next video.
easy enough.